Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. We're going to be in the tier list for February slash March 2019. I wasn't really able to make a tier list for February, and there wasn't really a lot of legends. Plus, there was a lot of global first stuff. So I was like trying to figure out how I wanted to throw that into the tier list and figure everything out there. So, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so now we're going to go over the tier list rankings and talk about them. So if you have never seen a Sekapoko tier list before, it's very, very simple the way we are rating these units. So first off, how is this tier list rated? All ratings are going to be rated on special ability, captain ability, and they're also going to take the sailor abilities and the captain usefulness, as well as their speed, safety, and stats as a unit. To give you an idea of what that means, we're also going to figure out how they're good as subs on a team. We're going to take them as their viability as a captain, how good they're getting in endgame content, how they're doing past content, etc. And all of those factors are going to be taken into play and putting it into the tier list and figuring out exactly what we're going to do. As you can see here, we have Twitch chat here. Usually on my tier list, what I do is I actually have a lot of people from Twitch. If you want to join us there on my tier list days, what we do is we go over a lot of the different good points of the units, the bad points of the units, and we talk about them and we figure out what the best parts are. And sometimes when there's a really tough one, we vote on it, and that's part of this video too. So I'll go over that in a bit. Is this video up to date, as well as is this tier list up to date? Yes, it will be up to date. I just need to change the little thing that says date at the top, and it'll be done. So it'll be great. Rating is going to be up to date with the current JP content, as we clear potential for those sailor abilities and captains. So we're going to be doing clear rates for these units for both sailor abilities and captains, not specifically toward just the captains. So guys, it'll be a very, very fair tier list. All right, next we're going to go over the tier ratings, and the tier ratings are very, very simple. There is going to be ratings from God Usopp all the way down to trash tier. The God Usopp is going to be the top 3 units in the game, and the God tier units are going to be top 10 units in the game. By the way, if you are wondering, no, there is no difference in power level between God Usopp units and God tier units. They are basically the same level of strength for pretty much everybody in the God tier versus God Usopp tier. The difference is that they have super broken mechanics, a lot of them bypass mechanics with captain abilities or special abilities, making them retardedly fun to use and broken. God tier units are incredibly strong units that are both in the top 10 in the game, as well as amazing subs and captain, and their teams have high attack potential and might bypass some mechanics. Super tier units are amazing units that are either supports units or very, very strong captains, and there are tons of units in this tier. So guys, if you see your legend in this tier, it does not mean they are bad in any way, shape, or form. There are a lot of God tier units and super tier units that have the same strength level as captains. A 4.25 captain, a 4.5 times captain, a 4 times captain can all be in super tier, but they cannot. They can all be in God tier. It really just depends on their special ability, their usefulness, the subs that you can run on those teams, etc. And that's what really comes into play between the difference between a God Usopp God tier unit and super tier unit, and that's really how it changes. And they change month to month, guys, so just know that there is going to be changes next month, the following month, etc. So they're never going to be static forever. The power creep does exist in the game, and we are trying to change on a weekly basis. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, that YouTube comment section is really good for reading, right? Useful tier units are going to be legends that are definitely going to be beat about 80% of the game's content, but usually are powercraft, and usually these units are really good subs. Sometimes they're used as captains, really just depends on the situation, and sometimes they're really good for treasure mode, etc., and not super great in the normal content, but they're very useful when they come around. And they're definitely not future-proof units. They can be powercraft very easily, and to be honest, some might be a little bit outdated. Niche units are units that are extremely useful in certain content, but definitely not useful in most content. And trash tier units are doo-doo. And when you're forced into using these units, you fucking want to shoot yourself in the head. It's terrible. Alright, so it's time to go over the tier list. So I'd recorded the tier list, and the problem was that the very next day, but right before we were going to release it on the 24th, we had the release of Jumanji. So I had the whole recording done, and then Jumanji came out the very next day. So I had to redo the fucking thing today. So we just changed the dates to the 1st of 2019. So March tier list, because we are now skipping February. Officially skip February. Fuck it. So sorry for missing a month. I apologize. I was really sick. So first on the tier list for the strength category, we're going to be going to Snake Man, and I'm gonna say it officially. Snake Man is better than Gear 4 Luffy, even though they can be used for 2 different things. Yeah, and Snake Man on the original recording of this was in the God Usopp tier. And then I had to make a very, very painful shot call. I had to choose between Snake Man and Katakuri. I chose Snake Man initially. It's too fucking painful. I know in my heart that Snake Man is more versatile, has more uses, but V2 Kata hype is too real. I'm sorry! V2 Kata has got him sub tier. I'm saying it! Fuck you, Snake Man. We love you. But, well, everybody loves Kata more. I'm sorry. It's the thing. I love Kata more. Sorry, Snake Man. Anyways, Big Mom 6 Plus, I'm going to be putting in the God tier, and there's going to be an asterisk next to this Big Mom 6 Plus. So, Big Mom, the normal unit, is going to be in the Super tier, whereas the Big Mom 6 Plus is in the God tier. However, the Big Mom 6 Plus is not on the Japanese version yet, and there's a really weird thing about putting global characters on a tier list that for JP only, I have to think about past content, and then I think about how the characters are going to stack up in future content. And 6 Plus Big Mom shows up a lot of weaknesses, so she's definitely going to be in the God tier. However, 6-star Big Mom, Super tier. Sorry, Big Mom. Your reign was very short. We'll see you later. Luffy Ace moved down to the Super tier as well. It's not that Luffy Ace got worked, it's just that there's so many other better characters. And to be honest, Free Spirit is just too weak at this point to contest with characters that like 6 Plus Big Mom, etc. And Snake Man, Carrot, etc. And it's not that Luffy Ace is bad or any way, shape, or form. It's that Free Spirit is currently kind of getting weaker and weaker and weaker just because the content is outstripping. And those of you who are playing the Japanese version know that the utility you need for content is now going to be really staggering in the amount of mechanics the boss has. We actually just got a new mechanic on the Japanese version, and that's going to be a kind of a game changer for NL teams and V1 Law, kind of like losing his luster. So we'll go over that in a little bit as well. Lucy Saba staying in the Super tier, and of course we got Croc. Everybody else in the useful, niche, and trash tier. Everybody's there. So going into the quick tier list, Carrot no longer in the God Usopp tier. There are two reasons for this. The first is there's been a lot more boss debuff mechanic based content versus buff based mechanic in the last 2 months. So because of that, the reason Carrot is good is because she can go through a lot of boss buffs, but she can't really counter boss debuffs as well. Her batch does an okay job of that, but the main problem for her is that she doesn't have a wide variety of units in order to collect upon that bounty of units that really do have a lot of utility or the right utility for the right content. She can still clear the content, and I believe she can clear the most recent 2 Colosseums, but I have not seen a team that can do it yet. I honestly have not tried to do it beyond just one attempt, and then I just said, oh wait, no, I'm gonna do this other team because there's no reason to bring Carrot, because there's no mechanics that she's bypassing. There's no reason to bring her for this content. So I ended up switching it up and never got one back to Carrot. So I don't know if she can. I have to double check. V2 Gear 4 stayed in that God tier, and then 6 Plus Enel, I'm gonna distinguish him. He's gonna be a better character than Luffy Ace, even with the new debuff mechanic. The amount of content that 6 Plus Enel can clear and allows you to bypass is super, super great, because him with V1 Law is an insane combo that has been really, really good for a long time and got better with the 6 Plus version. And every new unit, of course, comes out is better for 6 Plus Enel. Now, Luffy Ace is still a very strong unit, as we mentioned. He's going to stay in the Super tier for now. And if he does get a new set of Free Spirit batch, he can move back up to the God tier if it does become more versatile. We do have Limited Rare Bonnie and a lot of other units that allow Free Spirit to be very good, but the problem is there's a lot of color restrictions to Free Spirit, and there's a lot of utility restrictions along with those color restrictions, so it really doesn't help the Free Spirit be better because of the amount of utility that you need currently on the Japanese version. So there are a lot of units that you can use for free units, but right now they're not the correct units for the current content. But as time goes on, those new units will come out, and then Luffy Ace can be reevaluated then. But in my personal experience, for the last 3 or 4 months, it's very, very, very difficult to find a Luffy Ace friend. No one is using him for content because of that exact reason. For the new version 3 Whitebeard, V2 if you want, I don't really care. It's for the meme. He's going to be in the super tier as well. He is a 4.5 times captain at 1 HP. He's going to be a 3.5 times captain at half HP. And the thing is, the new Ace is a very strong character, and personally, I just don't like HP restrictive captains. It limits you to what you can use for teams. You're pretty much stuck using Ace or Vivi on every single fight that you're going to run out. However, Ace and Vivi do have a lot of utility on their kits, which can allow you to do clear content. I don't know if it's going to be the right utility, which is what I previously mentioned. And having a character that is like linked to the captain, it makes them a little bit weaker. So there's a problem with that in the German batch as well, and I will go over that in a little bit. But right now, it's going to change week to week as far as who the better units are. So he's really good, very much like him, but he's going to be super tier. Super tier is very, very strong. You can see characters like Zephyr in the super tier and Luffy Ace, characters with a 4.25, 4.5 times captain abilities. And these are all very, very strong units and damage-wise, but they don't provide that other roundabout type of style that you can get around mechanics. And they're very strong, but they do have flaws. So overall, they're very good characters. They just may have flaws. Zephyr is an HP cut captain with an orb manipulate, which is very good. But Beige Capone is just flat out better for more situations. So as a captain rated against each other, they're both amazing shooter captains, but one is clearly better than the other because of a certain mechanic that one has. And they're both good together, but one is better as a captain, and that is going to be the defining feature in rating two characters that have a very similar captain ability or similar damage potential on their captain ability, but do have different mechanics that allow them to bypass captain. So I can use another character instead of Zephyr as an orb manipulator, but I can't use another character instead of Capone to get the big father mechanic. So there is problems there. Then we got the new 6+ Cavendish, of course, being in the super tier. He's really strong. Honestly, he shored up a lot of his weaknesses. He's really, really good now. To be honest, as a gateway captain, he's still very strong. He can be used still as well with the Blackbeard captain ability, and the boost to his special ability is very massive, so it does help there as well. Going down on the tier list, there's no other changes that we're going to see. Everybody's basically in the same spot for quick, and we're going to go on to the next color. So going into the Dex category, and this was a this is one of the asterisks. We actually took a vote on stream, and we did it. I don't have the vote anymore. I lost it. But what I will do for this tier list, and I said I was going to do it when I was doing my initial YouTube recording, is that there was a vote between version 2 Shanks and Sabo, and which is better. And this would be the next character to move up into the God tier if there was a character moving out and they were moving in because they're proven to be better over time. That would be the character to move up. So V3 Sabo and V2 Shanks is the vote. So guys, I'm going to pass the question off to you. If you guys don't know how to vote, there's going to be a straw poll link in the description down below. If you want to vote on that, you'll be able to vote who do you think is better between version 2 Shanks as well as version 2/version 3 Sabo, whatever you want to call him. So, but right now he's going to be in the super tier. He's an amazing unit, very, very strong captain ability and special ability, but he does have a lot of flaws. And V2 Shanks also has that same thing where he has a very strong special ability and a very strong captain ability, but also has those niche flaws that go along with him based off color mechanics. And then V3 Sabo also has things based off turn mechanics. So there are problems with both units. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section about which character is better between the two, version 2 Sabo or version 2 Shanks. Then next we have version 2 Jinbei in the super tier. Cav Barto, the new legend that's going to be live on the Japanese version. I had the thumb for Cavendish and Barto, but I just put Barto here and then I put Cavendish in the other one, so made it a little easier. But Cavendish Barto is going to be in the super tier as well, so there's no real changes there. He's a really strong unit, 4.25 captain, but obviously it's kind of meh, and Driven has been countered for consistently. So I mean, I can understand why you would use Cavendish Barto over version 2 Doflamingo. I can understand why you use version 2 Doflamingo over Cavendish Barto. It really just depends on content and what the best is for that specific situation. So I mean, that's a personal opinion for a specific set of content. So we just don't know. Then going down, the next thing is going to be a change. I believe I just changed this tier list. 6+ Magellan, I believe, was in the useful tier, and I moved him up to the super tier. And the reason for that is because content keeps changing and gets more and more difficult over time. But Magellan has proven to be very consistently good, and he is good in a lot of content. He beats endgame content when you really get in that situation where you're like, I really cannot beat this fucking content because I don't have the legends. Oh, I have Magellan. I can just cheese it. And he kind of does the same thing that Enel does, where you can kind of cheese the content with his kind of captain ability and use the special. Whereas Magellan can use this poison, and you just have to figure out how you want to use the poison with the heal and how you're going to take the hits over time in order to stack the heal up over time. So that's where Magellan kind of shines in between. And now he just got even better with the new Germa ship. And if you did not know, the new Germa ship is going to boost Tandem and Meat Orbs by 1.1, giving Magellan a much needed damage boost when he attacks. So that will help out a little bit. And it makes it easier for him to hit that 200,000 threshold damage that he needs to hit in order to get the poison tick on characters. So that will definitely help out on earlier turns. So definitely a needed improvement for 6+ Magellan. Beyond that, there's no other changes to the green tier list, and we're going to move on to the side. So going into the side tier list, you're going to notice something only a little biased between V2 Kata and Snake Man. Only a little, just the tip. Honestly, V2 Katakuri is way more awesome in a lot of different ways, and he has so many weaknesses as a captain. But as a sub, his viability far outstretches G4, because that tap timing bonus that you can gain on him, being able to use him with Warco, being able to use him with Enel, and a lot of other characters in the game, as a sub, his viability just far outstrips that of other characters. So I very much enjoy having Katakuri here. He's going to bypass a lot of damage interrupts. So if you want to use an Orb Boost and Type Boost and you were not able to use those, like on the Blackbeard raid boss for V2 Blackbeard, you can actually use Katakuri on that fight in order to get tap timing and do enough damage to kill the final boss. So there are a ton of ways in using this character where you can't use Orb Boost and Type Boost, but you actually get the damage you need. So there's a lot of weird mechanics, like on Smoothie, you really need a character like Katakuri or Magellan in order to clear the boss, because they bind every single turn and you can't use at 4 turns. So it is a very, very annoying mechanic to get around. So with V2 Katakuri, you're able to just, kind of bypass those types of mechanics, being able to get around Orb Boost, Type Boost interrupts, and do enough damage to kill a boss. So definitely the reason I put him in the God Usopp tier versus the God tier, and it was too painful otherwise. The other notable character, of course, is going to be the Sanja and Judge Jumanji unit. This is definitely in the God Usopp tier because of his retarded special ability. Like, it is, and retarded swap ability. I mean, it's absolutely stupid how broken that is. Like, I cannot believe they came out with a character that does 2 times Orb Boost and 2 times Type Boost on a single unit. Like, by itself, that's just retarded. There's no unit in the game that does a 2 times Orb Boost and Type Boost by itself, which is essentially multiplying your entire damage by 4 times whenever you walk into any room. And the fact that you can do this 2 separate times, because you can walk in and do it on both of the characters, is absolutely insane. Each of the Germa units also provides a unique thing that you can get for other types of damage, and it's insane how you can get it. So the special ability, by the way, is only for powerhouse characters, but being a 2 times Orb Boost and Type Boost for powerhouse characters, if you want to use them on any powerhouse team ever, if you wanted to use them strictly on like a version 2 Katakuri team, which may not be ideal but could be a possibility because the Germa Sanji unit does fit on a Katakuri team, and you want to use strictly powerhouse characters on that team, it would actually work out, and you'll be able to use a version 2 Katakuri captain and a Judge Sanji sub. But you can also use Snake Man on the team if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you could. And the other thing is the swap ability, giving you a 1.25 times chain boost, is absolutely freaking bonkers. A 1.25 chain boost on the swap ability, which is the highest swap in the entire game, and he completely removes silence on himself. It is the most busted unit in the entire game that I can think of besides Warco. And Warco's ability to swap to get Meat Orbs, in my opinion, is always going to be legendary because it allows you to stall out the most annoying mechanics of all time, and just getting past those mechanics is really where people struggle. So definitely Warco is going to remain at the #1 legend in the game, #2 being Judge Sanji or Jumanji, and of course #3 legend, which I could not put in 3 because I can't count, is V2 Katakuri. So I'm going to fix the numbers a little bit later, but That's where it's going to be for the Psy tier. Super, super strong. Each of the German units, it provides a unique bonus just like last time, except this time we're not going to have major holes in the kit, like not being able to remove Bind and Despair, as well as Paralysis on your teams because of the 6+ German squad. The 6+ and the 6-star German squad are basically like two different versions of the same team that shore up weaknesses on one side versus the other side, whereas the new Judge and Sanji version 2 German team has far less weaknesses and overall can beat a lot of content in the game. I really want to see this team in action. I want to play with this team personally. I don't have him, but I do definitely want to play him. He looks like a ton of fun. Other than that, there's no real changes to the rest of the tier list. The only thing that I'm considering doing for the next tier list, of course, is moving Garp down to the useful tier. He's still a very strong unit, of course, but like we really just don't see play on it on Garp because the sub ability on Garp is insane with the 30% HP cut as well as the chain lock. There's no problems with that at all, and that's timeless. I mean, you're gonna have that for a long time. Chain lock at 3x is still gonna be very strong 6 months from now, so as well as a year from now. I mean, there might be a 3.25 chain locker that's not Tesoro, but to be honest, I mean, looking at Garp, 30% HP cut is always timeless, and 3x chain lock is solid. So I don't know where if I want to move him, but I haven't needed to use him or tried to use him in content. That's my biggest failing for Garp, is I haven't tried to use him in content, but I don't find any problems with his kit as far as special ability goes. As far as captain ability goes, he has the one of the highest HP pools in the entire game. So I want to, I mean, of course, HP cuts do affect that. I really don't know how it's going to play in future content. Going down, we're not going to have any other changes for the side tier list. Then going into the int tier list, the most sad change of all, of course, is that V2 Shanks is no longer in the God tier and will be moving down to the super tier, of course, to make way for some other legends. And we're going to, of course, keep V2 Akainu in the top tier. Now there actually might be some contention here. When I was originally making this list, I didn't see that the end of turn damage was negated by the new debuff that's in the Japanese version that negates all special damage. So there actually might be a dethrone of version 2 Akainu very, very soon. We're gonna have to see if content keeps coming out with this new debuff, and by the end of March or early April, we'll have an answer on if version 2 Akainu will be going down to the super tier, and we will have other characters that are going to be moving into the God tier instead, which will probably be either version 3 or version 2 Sabo, as well as version 2 Shanks. Those two characters, of course, could have the potential to move back up, or possibly a new legend, depending on what comes out in the month of March. Other than that, there's not going to be any other changes to the super tier. They're going to remain the same with 6+ Sanji and 6+ Judge. And we're also going to see no other changes in the other characters coming out. The only other change that was in here is, of course, the new 6+ version 1 Doflamingo is going to go straight into the useful tier. He's a very good driven orb booster, but that's all he does. And to be honest, it's whatever. It's as strong as version 2 Law base. I mean, it's whatever. He's okay. His captain ability is a massive, massive improvement above his original ability, 3.5 times captain. The main thing that's different with this new version 1 Doflamingo is he has no downsides and no problems in his kit, besides his name is Doflamingo, so that is a major problem. In my personal opinion, Treasure Mode Doflamingo is actually a better captain and better unit to have on your driven teams than version 1 6+ Doflamingo. Just being honest, I would much rather have him. Then going into the reroll category for the Japanese version, there is going to be no real changes to the reroll category. To be honest, these are the characters you're going to probably reroll for, and they're not going to change too much. I don't think that rerolling for Judge is a good idea for new players, to be honest. The thing with the Judge teams is rerolling for Judge is a really... or Jumanji is a really, really bad idea, because having the full Germa squad early game is very tough to do. If you're gonna pull for the entire Germa squad and actually get the full Germa squad on one account and you have Jumanji, I don't know how you're gonna do that, but if you're able, fantastic. I mean, that's great. I don't know how you're gonna do it in like 2 multis. Like it took. I actually can't tell you. A 9 multis for my last set of pulls. I didn't end up pulling him, so I mean, it was really not great, so I'm kind of sad about that. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna go with that. But we're not gonna have any other changes. Of course, V2 Gear 4 Luffy, best to pull with Nami. The new Luffy Ace, still an amazing starting character. So even though he has moved out of the God tier and God Usopp tier, he's gonna be moving down to the super tier, but he's still an amazing starting character. As far as starting characters go, super strong. So then, of course, if you are really willing not on the Reroll Superfest and you are trying to get a new character, V2 Kata is an amazing character to start with. He's completely brain dead because every single turn you actually heal the full, so completely freaking brain dead. Super great character to start with. And of course, his special ability is bonkers. Carrot, an amazing character to start with because she is a speed queen. You get to have special abilities up really quickly, helps you get through the early game very quickly, and of course, before you get to the early game and have those different problems and starting to have different things going on, Lucy isn't a great character to roll with her if you're not able to, of course, get Gear 4 Luffy or some other character with her. Lucy would be like the best alternative to any character in the game that you could bring. And you see he does have that 2-turn type boost that makes content very easy to get through. He's also a very easy character to play in general, so that is why I would recommend Lucy with Carrot being a more difficult character to play. Then we got Wiping Marco, which is a great character, and Wiping Marco, of course, would be good with Enel, version 1 Law, would also be good with Nami, Gear 4 Luffy, pretty much anybody, but version 1 Law would probably be my best pick because version 1 Law allows you to get through any barriers with the HP cuts, allowing things to be a lot easier. On the global version of One Piece Treasure Cruise, there's a new reroll mechanic, and I had to change all my reroll stuff. So, of course, the best thing to reroll for on global, of course, is version 2 Gear 4 Luffy and Nami. Statement. Done. The next best is the consolation prize, of course, is going to be the Kung Fu Luffy and Nami pull, which is going to be when you just can't pull Gear 4 Luffy and you got to pull something else. You got Kung Fu Luffy instead of Gear 4. Then, of course, you had Frankie, which is the next step down from that, which is going to be the Super Saiyan. He's got an immense power-up, get allowed to do the AoEs, and he's really fun. Now, of course, we got version 2 Sanji, who is really good with the version 1.6 plus Gear 4 Luffy, allowing you to get Orb Manipulate on that Sanji, which is pretty much what you need early game. Very easy if you roll them both together. And, of course, the last thing that you can roll is going to be Robin, who is going to block all damage. And the best character you pull with her is Nami. Who would have thought? So it seems there is a very similar thing going on. Just pull frickin' Nami with any of these 4 units. It's really all you gotta do. I mean, obviously, the top 3 are the better ones. Robin is just waifu. But that's what I would do if I was you on Global. Alright guys, well, my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, like and subscribe. All the fun stuff. And you guys have a great rest of your day. And of course, if you do want to vote on the version 2 Sabo or / version 3 Sabo versus version 2 Shanks debate, go ahead and go to the straw poll vote down below in the description and vote on that. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.